Alright, welcome back to Terra Invicta. Today I want to go over what claims are, how they work, how do you get claims, and generally some of the strategies you can employ with them. Alright, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, so that way we can get to the point very quickly. So, in the beginning of the game, there are two unions, the European Union and the Eurasian Union. They have their different members. Example, Baltic states is in the European Union, while Kazakhstan is in the Eurasian Union. Other countries, they are not in unions. There are no other unions at the start of the game other than the European and Eurasian Union. The relevance of this you can find in the tab if you click on a country. Normally you'll pop up to priorities. You want to hit relations. Under relations, if you hover over a country that is in a union with yourself, you can see all of their requirements. For uniting a union, for leaving a union, you can see all of what you need or need to do those actions. And it's all clearly concise here in either pass or fail statements. To get new countries into the union or to be able to join that country's union, if we look at the checks and balances here, for example, the United Kingdom. For the United Kingdom to join, the United Kingdom must have a claim on a Federation member. Or at least one Federation member must have a claim on a region of the United Kingdom. You can see here, if we go to, how do we check that? We go to regions. We can see the EU has a claim on Georgetown, London, Belfast, and Glasgow, the entirety of the United Kingdom. And also, Scotland has a claim on Scotland. And Ireland, which is a European Union member, has a claim on Belfast, right here. So, that is multiple checks for the United Kingdom to be eligible under Relations, hover over in the United Kingdom, in the France tab, for unification. So then we also check for joining. For unification, we can check that. The only thing the United Kingdom is missing for this is it must be in the Federation, and it for a certain duration, and that it must be in the Federation at all. So the United Kingdom, for example, even though it is not in the European Union, is perfectly eligible to join and then unify with it. Another example that wouldn't be a thing is Mongolia does not have claims. Nobody has claims on Mongolia's provinces, and it is not part of the Eurasian Union. So even though it is a border country to the Eurasian Union, it is wholly ineligible to join the Eurasian Union in any way, shape, or form. So after that segment, your next question may be, well, how do I expand the European Union or the Russian Federation, or say, for example, create a new federation? Say I'm playing as the United States or in India or even Africa or South America. How do I combine all of my countries together so that way I can reduce how many control points I'm managing? The answer to that is technology. Here we have an example. The technology, it's called Great Nations. To have it, you must have researched arrival domestic politics, arrival international relations, unity movements, independence movements, and then finally Great Nations. Now this is a technology which cost 25,000 research, and the technologies behind it are pretty hefty as well. 10,000, 5,000, 5,000, 2,000, and that is past We Are Not Alone, which is a thing which triggers on itself. So Great Nations forms the United North America, Greater Dominion, African Union, South American Union, the House of Islam, the Greater Caliphate, the Pan-Asian Combined, Great Europa, Ford Russia, Greater Malaysia, Greater India. So you can see in there, they are kind of named if you can figure it out. Like Greater India would be the claims you would need to expand India. The South American Union, if you're playing in South America, is what you want to expand claims there and unite your countries. United North America, it's directly in the name and on the tin there, Unite North America, and Great Europa for expanding claims. Now, in this tech tree, we can see here, Great Nations Technology Tree, we can see the direct path, what we need to get here of those things. What that'll actually do is give the European Union, Greater Europa, claims on the Russian capital, things like the Belarusian capital. You can see regions only has claims here. It'll give a bunch of claims on, well, the greater of Europe to the European Union to allow you to expand that. And the inverse for Greater Russia, getting claims on things like Mongolia and more deeper into the EU. It would be useful for the United States and the United North America, giving them claims on Canada, Mexico, and maybe one or two countries down here. Probably not, because Guatemala is usually who gets claims for the Central American Federation, spanning all the way down to Panama. So, what can you do with these? What are the strategies? Well, I do not know if this will work, but based off of the requirements here for Russia to say, well, it's only listing war requirements at the moment. That's because it's in rivals. But one strategy that might be possible is to unite the European Union and then also simultaneously unite the Eurasian Union. It is definitely manageable once you get up to your fifth, maybe even mainly fifth advisor, and you have good orgs and government capacity. And what you could maybe do is ally the European Union to the then Eurasian Union, future Russia, then unrival each other, ally each other, and then with the claims that the Eurasian Union gains on the Russian capital, St. Petersburg, or, well, I guess in this case it would be Moscow, as it is the capital. I was thinking of older Russia. So Moscow, they would gain claims on Moscow. At that point, since this is the lead nation, I do not know how disbanding it would work. But since it is the Eurasian Union and then also in the Federation of the Eurasian Union, I figure dismantling itself and then joining the European Union and then integrating there would allow you to conquer a vast amount of territory in simultaneous without waiting for so many diplomatic timers to tick down. The other thing with claims that is somewhat important is things like America would eventually unite with Canada and Mexico. With claims, they are set in stone beyond technology and what is available at the very start of the game in the regions tab. So like here we have, was that Quebec has a claim on Canada. Smaller nations will get claims on larger nations. Great example, this would be China. So we have, well, little free Tibet. We have East Turkestan, China, Assam, and China as well. Those are on Chinese Taiwan or the Republic of Taiwan, however you want to consider that. But they are smaller nations in those same technologies. If we go to the tech tree, and we can see Fall of Empires here, this is the inverse. The end of America, end of India, breakup of Brazil, end of China, dissolution of Russia, and the Oceanic Independence Movement. This is basically the exact opposite goal of the Great Nations. The Fall of Nations is all about spawning littler claims, not so much in Europe because it already is really broke up. All these small countries like Spain, Portugal already have claims on themselves. They just also are claimed by the European Union. So that would spawn, like the Fall of America, a bunch of different little claims inside of America. I imagine there's something to do with probably the American South, probably a free California at some point, maybe free Pacific states, Northwest type of deal. Who knows? But yeah, that is basically the end-all be-all of claims in this game. There are definitely strategies you can do with them, perform. Definitely useful for yourself, the greater nations, to form and consolidate your power bases. But also the dissolution, the fall of nations technology is also extremely important because that will allow you to, say for example, if you're playing as a one side of the help aliens or don't help aliens movement, primarily you'll be playing on the don't help aliens as most of the factions always lean that way. If somebody's really entrenched in a China or in America or in a united Eurasian Union, those claims will give you the ability to basically piecemeal and destroy that seat of power. Because the most annoying thing you can have is if, say, the Protectorate is, say you're playing as the Resistance or pretty much anybody who's willing to beat up the aliens, pretty much anybody other than the Protectorate or the Servants, and the Protectorate is dug into here and you're wanting them out. Well, you could go down here, crack them out, shove them all out, say throw a coup. Now, China has a ton of points, and it'll continue to cost more points. So it's not really like if you're controlling America and the EU, you don't really have the capacity to really fill that power vacuum. So the last thing you want is for, say, the servants to immediately swoop in here and fill up these slots, well, then you're right back to square one. Those claims would theoretically allow you to end that problem once and for all by piecemealing out China into 5 to 6, maybe even 7 different countries, allowing you to permanently put an end to the threat that China, the entirety of China, would maybe pose to you.